It's going to be a 60-minute war, and the team that wants it the most is going to win.
The 2018 Pitt Panthers opened the season to uncharacteristic expectations. They'll be led by sophomore quarterback Kenny Pickett, who had just one career start, and upset over number 2 Miami to close out 2017. Head coach Pat Narduzzi did nothing to temper expectations, declaring at the kickoff luncheon that the next time he'd see everyone, it would be in Charlotte. But nothing was easy in 2018. Pitt had to come from behind in a tough start to the season, find out who they were, and dig deep. The season was a difficult one for the entire city of Pittsburgh, and the Panthers became an unlikely symbol of the city, of toughness, resilience, and of a desire, a drive to keep moving forward. And if they would become champions, they would have to do it the hard way, in a fight to the finish.
We number one in the coastal! Yeah!
And Sweet Caroline goes on a cappella.
Maurice Ffrench waits back and he'll take it at the 9 for the Panthers. Finds a little bit of a lane over to the right side. Needs a block on the kicker. He gets it down the sideline. And will he go the distance? Yes, he will. 91 yards on the touchdown.
You couldn't script a better start to the 2018 season than the Pitt Panthers enjoyed. Maurice Ffrench took the opening kickoff back to the house, and Pat Narduzzi trotted his team onto the field knowing that while expectations were low nationally, they were sky high in Pittsburgh. And why not? They had a defense that could take the ball away and prevent opponents from scoring in any situation. But 2018 wasn't just about defense, even though sometimes it was about Damar Hamlin, like it was in the second possession of the game.
Intercepted and going the other way. Hamlin's got it, the free safety. Hamlin makes a miss at the 40. Now he gets some blocks. Look out.
It was also going to be about Kenny Pickett, the returning sophomore quarterback making a second start today.
Take a look at Kenny Pickett and what he's all about. He's all about business and taking this offense to the promised land.
In the first half, for the first game of the season, Kenny Pickett led his offense to the promised land, again and again and again, scoring those 33 points all in the first half. Kenny threw 2 beautiful touchdown passes to returning senior Rafael Araujo-Lopes. And it was at worst a minor inconvenience and maybe even strategy that Pitt didn't score any points at all in the second half. They'd still beaten Albany 33-7, and now they had to keep their composure with the biggest game of the season on the horizon.
Obviously, it's Penn State week, and it's obviously game 2. It's a big game because it is a rivalry game, and they get to come to Heinz Field, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think our kids will be excited. I think the city of Pittsburgh will be excited.
There are a few things in college football that match the rivalry games, and very few rivalries are as fierce as Pitt versus Penn State. In 2018, Penn State came back to the Steel City for possibly the last time in a very long time. It was a downpour, but the weather didn't matter. The fans turned out in droves to see Pitt versus Penn State renew the rivalry in Pittsburgh one more time. And while the weather may not have been what anyone hoped for, the game in the first half more than lived up to expectations. Pitt had entered 2018 expecting Darren Hall to take the reins as a feature back. While Hall would have a very successful season, it was Qadree Ollison who had re-emerged as a star during the Penn State game. But for all of Olson's efforts, Pitt could not get out of their own way. And while the defense occasionally stepped up and made enough big plays to keep the score close, Penn State scored a late touchdown to enter halftime up 14-6. But it was an 8-point game, and still very well within reach as the second half began. But all 3 phases are important in a football game, and Pitt's special teams were not performing well enough to keep the Panthers in the game. Punts were blocked, punts were muffed, and punts were returned for touchdowns. Field position became a problem and eventually became insurmountable. As the game trudged on to the fourth quarter, a game that had seemed like it would remain close throughout became a blowout. A rivalry game Penn State began to pile on the points, and Pitt could not stop them. Despair finally emerged as a true winner for Pitt Panther fans, and when Pat Narduzzi trotted off the field, the score was 51-6, Penn State.
Well, the first thing I want to do is, apologize to the Pitt, nation out there. That was not Pitt football right there.
Ollison, big Gary.
There weren't many positives to take from Pitt's loss to Penn State, but if there was one, it was Qadree Ollison's performance in the first half of the game.
Qadree Ollison left side, touchdown Pittsburgh. Second rushing score from Ollison.
Ollison had a first half that you'd love to have again.
After emerging as the ACC Rookie of the Year in his redshirt freshman campaign, Ollison took a back seat to returning running back James Conner, and the following year in 2017 emerged as the ultimate teammate.
Switched to fullback a year ago because of injuries to George Aston. Played fullback in front of Darren Hall. Sacrificed his opportunity to carry the football. Big time teammate.
Ollison left side. Ollison to midfield. And out of bounds into orange territory.
2017 saw Ollison move back into a starring role in the backfield, but more than just a teammate and a running back, he became a vocal leader as well.
We take him to the one side. Yeah! We Pittsburgh strong. Yeah! Let's get it, baby.
30's back in the ballgame. Look at him.
Ollison's hard-nosed, power-rushing style resonated with the city and the fans and bowled over opponents regularly, whether they liked it or not. It was no surprise that he was selected in the NFL draft following the season. This season was emotional for Qadree Ollison. He had switched from number 37 to number 30 to honor his late brother who had passed prior to the season. If Pitt was going to be in this position, if they were going to be coming off of a bad loss to their hated rival, then there had to be some comfort to the Panthers to know that they had the right teammate, right running back, and right leader to build behind, like Qadree Ollison. But even after the darkest Pittsburgh reigns, there is a sunrise.
It's life. It's a game of football. It's the adversity that you go through, and then the key is going to be how we rebound from this adversity. That's going to be the key. And I trust and love those kids in that locker room. I got no doubt that they'll come back next week ready to go. Period.
The Panthers got back to work with ACC play and all their goals in front of them, and their next challenge would be a rival with plenty of familiarity. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets were a divisional foe in the Coastal Division, one that the Panthers had played every year since their arrival into the ACC. 2017 was Narduzzi's first loss to Yellow Jackets, and some bad blood lingered.
And we've got to clean that up because against a good team, we won't be able to survive.
The year prior, Paul Johnson had made it very clear he did not think the Panthers were a good team when he beat them down in Atlanta. This year, the Panthers took the field in Pittsburgh. They were 0-0 in the ACC, and ready to show Paul Johnson exactly what a good team really looked like.
They take the jet sweep. Right ahead, running with the football, first down to the 15 to 10, into the end zone. Qadree Ollison, how did he get out of that tackle?
With the Penn State loss seemingly in the rearview mirror, Pitt responded from adversity just as their coach said they would. And in the first half, Pitt did everything but let up on Yellow Jackets. It seemed that Paul Johnson would be eating his words from the previous season, or maybe having them stuffed down his throat.
And here's Darren Hall bouncing in for the touchdown.
Georgia Tech had unsuccessful fourth down attempts, including a fake punt that went absolutely nowhere, while Pitt responded by executing trick plays and showing off the power run game they had just begun to hint at.
Second possession for the Panthers. We get to a flicker. Pickett lining up, gonna shoot it deep. Taysom back is there. Back down the far side. Banged out around the 15.
Pitt entered the second half up 21-0. It seemed like the only question was just how badly Paul Johnson would have to apologize in the postgame. But if there was one thing that could be said about Pitt in 2018, it was this: nothing was easy.
Everybody firing off the ball, winning the battle up front. Your quarterback doesn't question the pitch, puts it out there.
A 3rd and 17 penalty moved the chains for Yellow Jackets, who cashed it in, 21-6 after a missed extra point against a Panthers team that had not yet scored in the second half all season.
There's the dirty laundry on Pittsburgh scoring this year, James.
Yeah, 6 points in that Penn State game a week ago.
33 against Albany in the opener and didn't put any points on the board in the second half.
Alex Kessman's field goal finally broke the dry spell, and the Panthers were up 24-6. It would be the only points these Panthers would score in the second half in this game, and there were times when they looked like a comedy of errors trying to move the ball down the field. Fortunately, though Georgia Tech had the chance to win the game, they fumbled, bobbled, and ultimately dropped their chances to do so. When the clock hit 0, the game was unexpectedly close, but Pitt had won 24-19. The Panthers should have had momentum following the win against Georgia Tech, but unfortunately the young team was unable to keep it going. Against a pedestrian North Carolina team, the Panthers made the Tar Heels look like Supermen in Chapel Hill, and despite some inspired performances like Maurice Ffrench's touchdown catch, the Panthers were unable to win, losing 35-38 despite leading at points during the game. The next week in Orlando, the Panthers were even worse, never getting out of the starting gate against the Central Florida Knights, playing sloppy, making mistakes, and never even coming close, as the Knights ran away with it 45-14, getting their 17th straight win. A fan base that had been optimistic a month prior was confused as the Panthers sat below 500. Now at 2-3, everyone had questions as to where this Pitt Panthers team was going.
We have a lot of good senior leadership in the front row that sits right here. They had everyone's heads right.
Dennis, when you guys are in a little bit of a rut like this, 2 straight losses, 3 in the last 4, is there anyone in that locker room who sort of grabbing guys or is getting in front of the team and kind of taking it upon themselves to be an individual leader in a time like this?
While he didn't say so, Dennis Briggs was that leader the Panthers needed. A 2-time captain, his accomplishments as a leader greatly outshone those on the football field.
Even our kids on defense last night, Dennis Briggs sits where you do, thanked the Rocks because he said, Coach, the game was slower. Okay, the game was slower than what we had in practice last week. So that's a good thing.
Y'all better be ready to fight. This is college football. Anybody can win a game. We got 30 minutes. I want you to fight.
Man, this has been my life for the past 5 years, man. Playing on this field, some of the greatest memories I ever had. And we got another one right now.
If the Panthers were to turn this thing around, they'll need leaders like Dennis Briggs, especially as they headed home at 2-3, face off against an old Eastern rival, had one of their best seasons in many years. No one would say so publicly. Privately, it seemed as though the Panthers knew this was a do-or-die situation.
Time is come. We talked about responding to being a great football team, and that's what we got in here. Don't you ever question that.
Early on, the situation seemed dire. When quarterback Eric Dungy wasn't making life miserable for the Panthers, they were doing it to themselves. Freshman wideout Shockey Jacques Louis never did have the football, but his fumble gave quarterback Eric Dungy an opportunity he knew exactly how to make the most out of.
For 230-pound quarterback, play fake and then takes off on the zone read.
Dungy's scramble gave the Orange an opportunity that cashed in shortly thereafter on a short plunge into the end zone. Suddenly, the Panthers were down 14-0 early, and it was time to see exactly what this team was made of, and if they really could fight to the finish. Ollison's touchdown run was the first shot, but the defense showed next why you always play to the whistle.
Ball come out, ball's out.
The ball's scooped up. Dane Jackson. Jackson's running to the end zone.
And Dane Jackson scoops and scores. We got a tie ball. We're extra point right from a tie ball game, son.
The defense kept making plays, with Amir Watts adding an interception, but it might have been Alex Kessman who's the star of this game, flexing his muscles with 3 field goals of over 50 yards. Heading into halftime with the lead, Pat Narduzzi knew what this team was showing.
Kids, I mean, when adversity strikes, what are you going to do? And our guys, didn't phase them at all, which is, tells to the character of this football team.
It is 0-0 in the half. When we come out in the second half, and we play the best second half we've ever played. You got me?
Pat Narduzzi did more than change his visor. He also wanted to change how his team approached the second half. So far, they'd yet to put together a decent one. Rafael Araujo-Lopes on a screen pass early on was exactly what the Panthers needed to get off on the right foot in the second half. And it seemed only an act of God could keep the Panthers from running away with this victory. Following a weather delay, the sun shone and seemed to shine bright orange as they began to run over the Panthers with their own powerful running game, as well as quarterback Eric Dungy's inspired play. As Syracuse retook the lead in the fourth quarter, the Panthers decided to try to even things up with a wrinkle of their own. Syracuse was able to retake the lead minutes later on a field goal, and suddenly time was running down, and the Panthers were faced with a 4th and 3, their most important play of the season so far. These plays happen in every year. These are season-defining moments where a first down is not just a new set of downs, and a 4th down failure is not just a turnover. This would be who Pitt was as a team. Pitt had their backs against the wall. They needed this game to have a chance at bowl eligibility. Ollison took the direct snap, faked the handoff to Ffrench, and plowed ahead, just getting past the first down marker. Pitt's season could continue and the game still had a chance of going their way. The game wasn't over yet though. Alex Kessman was needed to send the game into overtime, which he did, and then the Panthers got the ball first. Minutes later, they broke out the Wildcat once again to take the lead in the first overtime. Now Pitt's defense needed to step up one more time and get a stop.
He throws it to the end zone in the pass.
Intercepted
The Panthers win! Darren Coleman!
You had to be here. You just had to be here.
Darren Coleman found himself at the bottom of the dog pile with all of his teammates and his head coach on top of him. Beating Syracuse is always sweet, but this wasn't about beating a rival. This was about the resilience of a young football team.
Your team with the OT win, your feelings right now?
No, I love these guys. Talk about adversity. We're down 14, up 10. Now we're down 4. These guys just keep fighting. We got a character football team. And I love those guys. That's all I can say.
Thank you for your time, Coach.
Hail to Pitt.
As high as they've been all year, here come the Irish.
Next, the Panthers would travel to South Bend to face off against an old rival, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. This was a monumental challenge. Notre Dame was entering the game ranked number 5 and undefeated, while Pitt was 3-3.
Third time in the last 7 years, Brian Kelly's team has opened 6-0. The quarterback who took over 3 games ago, Ian Book, since he's been the starter, this offense is averaging 46 points per game. Pat Narduzzi's team won at the eventual national champ, Clemson 2 years ago, ended number 2 Miami's title hopes with an upset last year.
The announcers reminded the fans of Pitt's history defeating ranked opponents, and on the field, the Panthers made sure no one forgot.
Running into trouble and a sack by Rashad Weaver. Direct snap to Ollison coming, and he's got the first down easily.
He's coming right downhill. These are big physical backs, delivering blows.
Ollison again up the middle this time, a touchdown!
Pitt opened the game 7-0, and by the time the Notre Dame offense finally got back on the field, they found themselves in an unfamiliar position, overmatched.
From the 48, Book, again taken off. All kinds of trouble, now throws, and it's intercepted. He threw it late, and Jason Pinnock came up with the pick, and he's down at the 38-yard line.
The Panthers' offense never really got rolling again, but it seemed early on that they wouldn't have to, with the way that the defense was punishing the Notre Dame offense.
Claypool comes in motion here, first and goal. Book, look out, in trouble, cannot get away, he'll go down.
Irish quarterback Ian Book was spending more time on his back than on his feet. And as the Panthers rolled into halftime, they did so with a lead of 7-6 over the number 5 undefeated Fighting Irish. But Pitt wasn't done yet.
Kickoff return coming here to start the half. It is Maurice Ffrench for Pittsburgh. Ffrench, who has a touchdown return this year in the opening game of the season, is across midfield. He's down the sideline, and he's gone! Maurice Ffrench all the way. Second half kickoff, touchdown Panthers!
Just as he had against Albany, Maurice Ffrench opened up the half with a kick return touchdown. The Panthers were now up 14-6. Things weren't getting better for Notre Dame either. Ian Book still didn't look comfortable in the pocket and threw his second interception of the day. Everything was going the Panthers' way, and it looked like another Pitt upset was in the makings. The Irish woke up, bringing the game to a score of 14-12 as the fourth quarter began, and kicker Alex Kessman, who'd been the hero of the week before, missed 2 field goals, preventing the Panthers from extending their lead. It seemed like a matter of time before the Irish pulled ahead, and on a controversial pass interference call, the Irish gained 15 yards, a new set of downs, and eventually the lead. The Panthers still had time, but after a blown fake punt attempt on a 4th and 4, it became clear the offense simply didn't have the firepower to get back into the lead. Quarterback Kenny Pickett watched the timer tick down to 0 as the Panthers lost to the Irish, 14-19.
Dreary fall morning in Pittsburgh quickly turned into something much darker.
Multiple gunshots are heard. The suspect keeps telling about killing Jews. He doesn't want any of them to live.
The Tree of Life shooting in Pittsburgh on October 27, 2018 shook the city to its core. Killing 11, wounding 6, it was the largest attack on American Jews in history.
You know, if you guys feel anything like I do, you know, about 11 o'clock this morning when I got my email and what happened over in Squirrel Hill, I mean, there's a lot more important things in a football game, I can tell you that.
Later that day, fans made their way to Heinz Field, dazed but ready to cheer on the Panthers. Being there was a surreal experience, knowing the whole time that something horrible had just happened near where you lived, but ready for any kind of relief.
And the give is on the sweep, and this is the young man Carter. Verleek Carter inside the 10. He's just so fast. Here's Carter again. Coming near side, splits the difference. 10-5, touchdown.
There are inspired performances on both sides of the ball for both teams. But for those in the know, this is called a Verleek Carter game. For the freshman sensation who came off the scout team at running back to lead the Panthers to victory. But in 2018, it was never easy. Kicker Alex Kessman tied the game up at 45, and an animated Panthers sideline led the fans in cheering and making as much noise as they could, desperate for one final stop on quarterback Daniel Jones.
Brings 4. Jones sacked, and a flag is thrown.
The Panthers trotted out onto the field with 1 minute 14 seconds left to score a touchdown or kick a field goal for the win.
Pickett gonna cut it loose. Arusha loves the catch. Pickett on a 3-step drop, middle of the field. Catch is made. Pickett up in the pocket, gonna run with it. First down. He'll slide down at the 24. David Cutcliffe has 3 timeouts. 17 seconds left. Here's Pickett. He's completed 3 passes in the drive. He'll fire one to the end zone. Ffrench is there.
Fans erupted as Maurice Ffrench limped off the field. Pitt would win the football game. It was a much-needed win for the city and the school. Now, it was time to look forward to a massive ACC Coastal matchup on a Friday night on the road.
I mean, obviously, whoever protects the ball is going to have a huge advantage tonight.
It was a rainy Friday night in Charlottesville when the Panthers headed south to take on the Cavaliers, ranked 25th in the AP poll, on their own hallowed grounds. The implications were enormous. Pitt was 3-1 in conference, where the Cavaliers were 4-1 in conference, and despite the Panthers' 4-4 record, a win here putting them in the driver's seat in the Coastal.
But you watch here, these guys just can't get their footing down.
Fake the toss to Ollison, roll it out. Pickett will dump it off short. And this is here at Matthews. Good run after the catch. And now here's Darren Hall getting his first carry, and it's a good one. Inside the 20. Goodbye. Touchdown, Darren Hall.
Despite some successes, the Panthers would go into halftime down 3, thanks in large part to the expired play of Bryce Perkins, who was playing out of his mind and willing Virginia to the win.
Pickett in trouble again. Nearly sacked again. Gets out of the jam and gets to the 12-yard line where he's pulled down from behind. That might be a horse collar. And that might bail Pitt out of a tough situation.
The horse collar proved to be a turning point, and the Panthers' offense rolled down the field to a lead they'd never relinquish again.
Great play call by Sean Watson. Understanding you're going to get 5 guys on the line of scrimmage.
15 plays, 84 yards on the series.
That's Pittsburgh football right there. That is that smash mouth run game that has really started to embody this program.
Perkins and the top 25 ranked Cavaliers wouldn't go down without a fight, and he drove the offense down the field to where they brought it within 1 point on a made field goal. But the Panthers' offense was rolling now and ready with an answer.
And Pitt with a hole up the middle for Darren Hall. And he is off to the races. Darren Hall. He's got the hat trick, his 3rd touchdown tonight.
Virginia fans were at first shocked and then frustrated as their top 25 Cavaliers could not keep pace with the 500 Panthers. Finally, even Bryce Perkins crumbled underneath the defensive onslaught, and the Panthers were able to skip out of Charlottesville in control of their own destiny. One of the reasons the Panthers were so successful on the ground in 2018 was the presence of a human wrecking ball at fullback by the name of Big George Aston. When the Panthers needed a big play, they knew just who to run behind.
Great backs follow their fullbacks.
A good job by George Aston, the fullback, coming over and helping lead the way. He's been blowing dudes up all night.
Here's that power running game coming right at you. Got a big block by Aston, the fullback in front.
Going to work behind those big bodies up front. Look at Aston. He's got his guy.
And how about this block by Big George Aston at fullback?
A mauler. 35 right there. Reading on the run. Nice block. Nice blocking again by George Aston, the fullback, opening up a nice big hole for the big back. Where they run behind Aston so much and bring Ollison back. And there's Aston pulling back around.
You put a 240-pound fullback in front of him.
5 lead the way, always does. Boom, great block right there.
With George Aston leading the way in the midst of a 2-game win streak, the Panthers looked poised to take the Coastal.
Hey, we all we need, fellas. Let's do our job today. Let's do it right, man. Let's put on, man. I know what it is. RBU on 3. 1, 2, 3. RBU.
It's not that Qadree Ollison didn't know that the Panthers would need more than just an inspired running performance to defeat the Virginia Tech Hokies. But now alone atop the ACC Coastal, what the Panthers would really need was all 3 phases of the game to roll in sync. Offense, defense, and special teams. And on a chilly Saturday, all 3 phases delivered.
Alex Kessman, who has the stadium record for long field goal. And this one from 47 is perfect.
No problem. This Pitt offensive line, and boy, this kid is really impressed.
The Panthers could do no wrong against Virginia Tech. Not only is Qadree Ollison now back fully healthy, running the ball with authority, Darren Hall continued his success he'd shown the week prior against Virginia.
Pickett to throw against a 7-man box. Airs it out, and Maurice Ffrench has got it. There goes Ffrench in a foot race. Touchdown. Here goes for 58.
Holy moly. You talk about one cut and let's get it. That's Darren Hall, baby, with steam coming off the shoes.
It was a senior day to remember, as the 2018 Pitt Panthers made sure in their final home game that no one in attendance would forget them, starting off shot out of a cannon and running away with it before Virginia Tech could even get off the starting block.
But sometimes you just get in a rhythm. Finally get rewarded. Right here, it's going to go over the top too a little bit.
By the time adversity struck, the Panthers were too far ahead, and while the Virginia Tech Hokies finally got on the board, it hardly mattered with the lead the Panthers had built up.
Dominant first half for the Pittsburgh Panthers. At home in the Steel City, and an absolute shellacking of the Hokies for 30 minutes.
The Hokies took 10 minutes to get on the board in the third quarter, and when the Panthers got the ball back, they scored quickly, showing Virginia Tech that there was no way they were going to be let back into this game. Simply put, the Panthers ran over the Hokies all game long.
How about this? First play of the drive, Ollison. Qadree Ollison running over Caleb Farley. Ollison with a house call. You've got to be kidding.
The defense showed up, and so did the special teams, but ultimately, the Pitt Panthers offense and the RBU, led by Qadree Ollison, were the real stars, with 654 total yards, a single-game record for one of the most storied teams in college football.
Kneel down for George will do it. The Pitt Panthers are one win away from the ACC championship. They are bowl eligible. They are 5-1 in the Coastal after a senior day demolition of Virginia Tech's Hokies. What a day for Ollison. What a day for Darren Hall. What a day for Pittsburgh.
The following week against Wake Forest, the Panthers needed some help to get out of a slow start of their own. The coaches had tried to avoid the subject, but it was clear the players knew the stakes, and maybe early on it got to them.
To see if they could change it. Fourth down, Pickett fires, not even close.
But the Deeks couldn't run away thanks to the sure hands of Damar Hamlin and Maurice Ffrench.
Throws it, it's deflected and picked. Incredible reaction from Damar Hamlin.
Maurice Ffrench's one-handed catch on a 3rd and 13 led to the Panthers' first score of the game and their first lead, but it wasn't a lead it could take into halftime.
Now looking deep, Bachman wide open, blown coverage, touchdown. A Pittsburgh team that's trying to clinch a spot in the ACC championship game, trailing Wake Forest by 4 after 30 minutes of football here today.
With the Deacons stopping the run game, it was time to attack through the air.
Hey guys, we're right there. It's 30 minutes. We just find a different way to do it.
Ollison takes it right at the sticks. He's met, but he muscles ahead.
Ollison's hard-nosed run on 4th and 1 was a warning bell to the Deacons, not for the emergence of the Pitt running game, which had been bottled up, but to the re-emergence of Kenny Pickett, who played his best game since 2017's season-ending upset over Miami. And the Pitt defense more than did their part.
Give a lot of credit to Kenny Pickett. He basically looked off Justin Strnad.
Jason Pinnock added an interception on the other side of the ball, and and suddenly these Panthers no longer looked like they're in a heavyweight fight. They looked like they were going up against a welterweight, and these Panthers turned the fourth quarter into another party when Valik the Freak got involved one more time.
Pat Narduzzi's team was 2-3 at the end of September. Since then, they've won 5 of 6. They've won 5 straight games in the ACC, and Narduzzi gets a bat. And it's got to feel great as Pittsburgh officially clinches the ACC Coastal Division with a 34-13 victory on the road over Wake Forest.
When they were going up against Central Florida, Notre Dame, and Penn State, it had seemed like an impossibility, but it was reality. The Panthers were the 2018 ACC Coastal Division champions. With a spot in the ACC championship game locked up, the Panthers, now ranked number 24th, looked unmotivated and overmatched against a Miami team that came into the game as 6-5, who didn't have the Clemson Tigers next on their plate. And maybe that was the difference. It was no surprise then that the Panthers ended the game down 24-3, and the win streak, as well as any further ranking, was at an end. But the season wasn't finished, and they headed to Charlotte.
Pat, not only for the football program, what does this mean for the university, the fan base, the city, you guys being here?
You know, I think it means everything to the city of Pittsburgh. You think about some of the tragic events, probably about a month ago. I think, everybody's looking for some good news stories to go out with some bad news stories.
The Panthers being in Charlotte did much to unite a city that was torn in two, but ahead of them was a massive challenge, the Clemson Tigers. The Panthers wore blue and yellow, but still looked different from the team with the winning streak.
And it's Travis Etienne looking for room on the right side and finding it. Etienne in the secondary. And a foot race. They won't catch him, and the Tigers score on the opening plays.
While the early game jitters took precedence, eventually Pitt settled in and before it was too late, showed what they could do with the football.
Ollison gets to the edge, stiff arming and Simmons down the sidelines, dives.
Ollison would be called out short and did eventually score on that drive. But the Panthers were done for the night. These Panthers may have been champions, but they weren't giant killers. The Sun Bowl followed as a postscript to Pitt's 2018 season, a 14-13 loss today, better known for being the last time the Panthers wore navy blue, as well as the last time Sean Watson coached offensive coordinator for the Panthers. The loss dropped Pitt to 7-7, and today they are sometimes remembered as a trivia question, the first time the Pitt Panthers won the Coastal Division. I've tried to avoid making the comparison throughout this video because it is unfair. The 2018 Pitt Panthers are their own story. The story of a city that needed a champion and a team that arose to be that champion when unity was so desperately needed. That was the 2018 Pitt Panthers, and that's their legacy today. But there is one Easter egg for fans of the 2021 team. The night the Panthers lost in Charlotte, they wrote on the blackboard, "We will be back." 3 years later, the Panthers returned, and they won the ACC outright with many of the same players. So 2018 in many years is a prelude to the greatest Pitt championship season in the ACC, but it's much more than that. It was a fight to the finish.